Hey, this is Jill, and welcome to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. And P.S. Happy Thanksgiving.
2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of We Speak Dispatch, and we hope that because you are listening to us as we speak dispatch, that it encourages you to speak about dispatch as well. We have my dog doesn't want to be a part of this right now. She's like, please, can I get out of this room? So we have our normal cast of characters. We got Doug over there. How's it going, Doug?
Good, thank you. I'm just watching your poor dog trying to get out, but other than that,
I know. She's like, oh, she's giving up. Joe, how's it going where you are?
Absolutely great. Big shout out to our international listeners and the Tottenham Hotspurs who just beat Man City yesterday 4-0.
Excellent, excellent. And John, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I just don't know what Joe just said about sports.
Well, and I was going to say, probably for our international listeners, it would be 4-0.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yes.
Oh,
Yes, because I watched not We Speak Wrexham. What is it? We Are Wrexham? That's a great show. Anyway, okay.
wow.
So we are just a few days away from Thanksgiving, and it's hilarious. I saw a meme not too long ago. A comedian was talking about how, and for those of you who are middle children, you might resonate with this, that Thanksgiving is the middle child of all of the holidays at the end of the year. Everybody is so excited about Halloween starting, so excited that you could just eat candy all the time. It's great. And then, Thanksgiving comes, there's no gifts on Thanksgiving. It's not that big of a deal. There's really not a whole lot of decorations. And Thanksgiving doesn't even get a full 24 hours because as soon as midnight, Thursday night for Friday morning, it's Black Friday. And now everybody's buying gifts for Christmas. So we are going to try to give Thanksgiving a little bit of love today. So are y'all ready? Okay. So if you've been in any of my classes over the course of the last decade or so, you've probably heard me talk about Sean Achor, who wrote a book called The Happiness Advantage. And we'll make sure that Doug has that link so he can put it in the notes. But one of the things that Sean Achor talks about in The Happiness Advantage is how important it is for us to be in a happy, positive mood versus sometimes what we find in dispatch is an overwhelming feeling of negativity. People are never calling you saying, hey, having a great day, just wanted to let you know. So he goes through in his conversations, and he does a lot better job than I'm currently doing, but he talks about how you can rewire your brain to scan the world for the positive instead of the negative. And I know, and we all know, because we all sat in that seat, that when you are in dispatch, there's not a whole lot of positive stuff happening. You really are surrounded by either you're working overtime, you got held over, the people who are calling, the officers in the, everything is just negative. So he talks about one of these exercises is for 2 minutes a day, for 21 days in a row, you get a notebook or a piece of paper and you write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Challenge becomes that those 3 things have to be different every 24 hours. So that means that after a couple times that you are writing down these things, you start to, in the course of your day, starting to pay attention to, oh, that's grateful number 1. And then maybe later, oh, that's number 2. And then something maybe happens right before you go to bed and you're like, oh, that's number 3. So super simple. But it kind of encourages you to really pay attention to those things in your life every 24 hours that you are grateful for. So what we're going to do in this episode is 2 things. Challenge everybody on the call because it is coming up on Thanksgiving. So I'm going to ask you, what are you grateful for when it comes to just the holiday in general? But then I'm going to force you into a little 24-hour window and think about not your big, what am I grateful for, but what are you grateful for the last 24 hours? And I can see wheels turning. I can see people going, oh, geez, oh, God. But I guarantee you tomorrow, and I'm going to send all of you a text message. What are you grateful for? And it's going to be a 24-hour thing. So as y'all are thinking, I'll go first because I thought of this, and so I've got something on standby. So just overall general Thanksgiving gratefulness is just grateful for the career that I had that allows me to have friends like we have on the We Speak Dispatch podcast. But just I'm so grateful for what my life has turned into as a result of being a part of a dispatch center. Never would I have ever imagined on my first day that this is where I would end up. And if somebody had told me, hey, you're going to do da 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 da, I would have said, nah, I'm just a dispatcher. And were there horrible days? Absolutely. Were there times that you just thought, what in the world have I done to myself? Yeah. But it's been an amazing experience, and it's something that I would not change for anything. And it's made me who I am, and given me opportunities that I never would have ever had I not stepped into that comm center for the first time. So that's my big grateful. So does everybody have a big grateful that you can share? Are you still thinking about your 24-hour grateful?
Well, it's ironic that you said it's 3, Leslie. And my big grateful for 2024 was probably health that allowed me to challenge myself with hiking expeditions. But the big 3 would be the 3 that went on the last one with me when I had some issues getting back down to the car that ultimately were a big part in making me successful in that hike. So a big shout out to those 3 that helped me during that hike. They would be my big 3 right now that come to mind.
That is awesome. And I would tell you, Joe, that if you haven't already thought about this, send them that note. Send them that note that said, hey, we were having this conversation and your faces popped up to my head, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, they've heard it a couple times, and there's quite the story where I might have had some issue with some of the gear I was using on that hike, and so I definitely got them something that commemorates the successfulness of the hike that's going in the mail this week. So they'll get it right around or right after Thanksgiving. So
It was a definite learning experience for you.
yes, it was.
Yes. And that may have to be a future We Speak Dispatch
Yes.
conversation with images of those poor jeans that have seen better days.
Hiking pants. Those weren't jeans.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so Doug or John, do you have your big
Well-
Thanksgiving?
Well, let me
grateful,
tell
and
you
then-
that when I teach classes, like most of us do, I always ask everybody, what is made possible by you working where you work right now? And you see so many people struggling, like, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then I start putting stuff up on the board, like a paycheck every month or week or however you get paid, a car that you're driving, a house that you've bought. Maybe you want to have kids. Maybe you want to retire someday, paid vacations. We forget all those good things about this job, and we focus on the negative stuff. I have to work on Christmas, or I got to do these things. I mean, I worked a lot of Thanksgivings and a lot of Christmases in my career, probably most of them. And there was a main reason behind that, because what happens on Thanksgiving and Christmas at work? Potlucks.
Food.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were great. But it's one of those things where it's like, I always try to tell people, look, when you're driving home at night in your cool car that you've got, and then you pull in your driveway, your house that you have, just say to yourself, my God, this is being made possible because of where I work. And I try to tell people, like, I'm retired from the highway patrol. It's nice every month to get a check from the highway patrol that pays our mortgage for this house. And it's like, it's just, you forget the big stuff, and you sometimes focus on the minutia of craziness instead of thinking, man, there's so many things to be thankful for to be in this position, that we had this great career, that we had this great job that has afforded us the opportunity to keep moving and do cool things out. So there you go.
100%. Okay, so John.
I'll just turn my camera off because no one can top that.
No.
But I would say overall, I was going to say, there are a couple things are going through my mind, but then actually Doug's retirement brought something to mind. And Leslie, you said something like the opportunities that the career has given you. You didn't think where you would be today is where you started, right?
Right.
who would have thought all of us or most of us even reached retirement?
Mhm.
Just getting to that activity, that milestone in itself.
Right.
But also, I'm thankful that retirement has allowed me opportunities with my family to do things that I never would consider doing,
Right.
such as personal project planning for things in my area. I never thought I would leave the area where I grew up. Now we're in Florida.
Yeah.
That's a big move when someone who for 40 plus years lives in one area and then uproots and is planning personal things. But that was all fortunate. And that we are fortunate because of the career that we both have, but certainly
Right.
mine
Sure.
and our contribution. In the last 24 hours, I would say I have gone through a recent medical event. So I am grateful for family and partner who has cared for me and pushed me to exercise as much as I can without causing too much pain, knowing that the end result is get back on your two damn feet quickly as
Right.
possible.
Right.
So overall, the career, the retirement, reaching that 24 hours is family helping me through a medical situation.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And I would think in my 24 hours, my last 24 hours, getting up and being in a place where, it was 39 degrees this morning, but it's now, it's in the 70s. But I was, I got up and I took the dog for a walk, and I had the clothes I needed to take the dog for a walk, and it was a beautiful setting. And just being able to have coffee in the morning in a house that we own, it's pretty awesome. So those are my last 24-hour grateful. What about you, Joe? Do you have
Yeah,
three?
I'd say my last 24 hours goes back to, the job that I have that allows me to buy the food. I like to smoke a lot of food, and the weather's nice so far here. It's going to get cold here in a couple of days, but ironically, I'm smoking some boneless pork ribs right now. And, I wouldn't be able to have that kind of equipment nor that kind of food if I didn't have the job that I did that allowed me to pay for it. So just the job that allows me to pay the bills and have some food.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Doug. What
I
about
would
you?
just say the last 24 hours, I mean, Jill and I have gone to a couple of Christmas craft fair kind of things, which is pretty
neat.
cool. And we went to Andrew Jackson's house, his hermitage, the big house he had. And they had a big event there and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to hang out with that kind of stuff. But I mean, we would never have been afforded those opportunities if I hadn't have stuck with the Highway Patrol for 30 years. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you just don't think about it. And when I teach classes, I'm always telling people it comes up so fast. It's like 30 years is like blam. And you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, I watched a thing on TV the other day about the North Hollywood shootout, the bank robbery. And I'm like, okay, I remember that pretty clearly. And it was like, they're like, oh, it's like 25 years ago. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we've only got a couple more minutes left, but Doug, you talked about potlucks, especially in dispatch. So any potluck fails that you ever had, or somebody brought stuff and you're like,
Can I just add one more thing on there though? And I thought this was kind of crazy at the beginning when they first started this thing several years back. They had everybody, including all of our officers that worked in our area, made those crazy hand turkey things. And we put them on the wall, and dispatcher was like 100 of them out there. And it was just every year we added more on there, and we had even our captain and lieutenant were like, that looks ridiculous. And we're like, okay, here you go. It's already cut out for you. Can you?
That's cool.
So it's kind of a cool thing. So that was good.
That is cool. That's super cool.
I would say for my potlucks, I ate everything willingly. So everything was good. I didn't care if there were like 2 veggie trays or 2 of the same potato chips. I was like, I don't care. Of course, there were others who say, well, why didn't someone bring this? And you signed up for that, but decided to bring that. I said, I don't care. That's just more for me then.
That's right. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Look,
we have an excellent staff as well. And some people are frequent bring stuff in, but they always bring stuff in. And so far, no fails. Everything they brought in absolutely tastes amazing because they all cook better than I do. So it's not too hard to set the bar very high because they're excellent cooks. So
Are you
That is
smoking a
awesome.
turkey for the center, Joe?
turkey's one thing I do not smoke. So I am
Oh,
no, I'm not. I did take them in some pork shoulder earlier in the year. I thought about taking something in either over Thanksgiving or Christmas.
yeah.
They did like the pork shoulder, so we'll see what I come up with.
Oh, yeah.
If I
Sweet.
took them in turkey, that would be the answer to the
Oh.
fail.
The fail? Wow.
Well,
Now,
you should
Doug.
do it this year, and then next year's question you can rely on, come back and say, "Oh, it was last year's turkey that failed."
Turkey, yeah. So I know, Doug, you're a big cooker. You're a big baker. You know yourself, your way around the kitchen. So did
No,
you
I
ever
don't.
take anything in? I know.
Yes, I've taken lots of them, but it's usually made by Jill. I
Yeah.
just bring it in, and people will call her. They used to call her all the time and say, "Can you make your deviled eggs that you make? Can you make this other stuff, cupcakes, whatever?" And then I would bring it in, and I'm telling everybody like, "I made this. Here we go."
Yeah, and they knew. No way.
Nobody
Well,
believed it. And if Joe said he's not the best cook at his place,
I know.
what in the hell's going on over there? It's like chefs on team or something. It's like
Yeah.
One of them just brought in these pumpkin bars the other day, and I tell you, they
Ooh.
were incredible. And so I've had some amazing food cooked by them, that's for sure.
Wow. Now everybody's hungry. Well, Joe, can you give us a rundown of
Yeah, absolutely.
what we are and where we are and all the great stuff?
First of all, we want you to follow us on all social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. If you want to be a guest here, make sure you email us at wespeakdispatch@gmail.com. We are on every podcast platform in over 50 countries and nearing 40,000 plays. So make sure you take a listen
Crazy.
to We Speak Dispatch on your podcast platform.
That is awesome. So everyone, no matter when you're hearing this, have a great and grateful week.
Mhm.
And have a happy holiday, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great show.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, this is Jill. Thanks for watching or listening to our program. And remember, you can be a guest or even sponsor our awesome program. Just send us an email at wespeakdispatch@gmail.com for more details. And P.S. Happy Thanksgiving.